Take two. Okay. I tried to do a videotape just a second ago, but got interrupted. So let's try this again. I want to talk about bullying. Bullies. Those not so nice people who pick on other people. My first experience with bullies was at home. My grandmother was an old lady who her daughter had a divorce and flew from California to Maryland. The grandmother had to pay for it, and we moved in with her. And she had a delicate apartment, a very delicate apartment. Everything was just so. She had a piano, she had an organ, she had delicate furniture. She was a delicate lady. I mean, a prim and proper lady. Everything changed. Yeah. Evidently, she must have sold the piano and organ or gifted it to a church or something. Gone. She was a concert pianist, organist. That was a tremendous loss. She had taken early retirement, had a mild heart attack. I think maybe before we came to live with her. I'm not sure. I can't remember back quite that far. I was not quite 5 years old. I know I was sickly and had to have my tonsils and adenoids out. So in that first apartment, there was they put a stand-up partition between two beds in one room. My brother and I shared. He was 8, I was 4. And then my grandmother and mother had to share a room. Not the best of situations. Then I got sick, real sick. And so my mother came to my room and my brother went to my grandmother's room. Not good. So then we moved into a duplex where my dear friend Donna, her father had built the duplex. They lived on one side, the owners, and then my grandmother, mother, brother, and I lived on the other side. And I could always hear in the evenings, or in the afternoon rather, before my mother came home, my grandma would be on the phone gossiping. And she would gossip about our family. Never ever speak about outsiders. No, no, no. She was too proper to do anything like that, but she was always talking ugly about me, my brother, whoever was on her blacklist, so to speak, at the time. Usually me. I was a good girl, but I don't know why. know why. I don't know why. And to live in a home where you're afraid of this person never hit me. Never. No physical abuse at all. Thank God. But to call me every name under the book, in the book, whatever. And, you'll never make anything of yourself. You're just like your father. Uh, he didn't want you. He threw you across the room. And then when I got teenage years where I could date, don't you think about bringing any child home. If you ever get pregnant, you're going to be put away in that institution. That's where you belong anyway. Yeah, that's called bullying at home. Now, a child who grows up bullied at home feels so less than anybody. And when you go to school with a mentality that you're less than anybody, kids pick up on that instantly. And the kids will pick on you. So I was bullied at school. They would kick me, literally kick me, from one class to another. I would always run into the guidance counselor's office, or at least the waiting area, until I heard the bell ring, because I'd rather get in trouble for being a minute late to class than to be kicked and hit and have my books knocked out and everything. I can still remember one of the girls' names, which I won't say. I don't know if she's even living at this point. And I don't remember the other girl. There was two main ones that were the bullies. Why? I don't know. But they made it such that the whole school looked down on me. I remember this very, very clearly. And so that went on until seventh grade. Well, come eighth grade, I start kind of smarting off to them, you know, kind of smart mouthing back at them, because they said they were going to get me, but they couldn't do it during school time, so they said after school. So I was going home in junior high after school, and I had to go down this hill, and there they were. Not just them, but just about the whole school. And I was kind of trapped. And my mom was wrong. She said, never, girls don't fight. Never fight. Don't tell your girls that. Try not to ever fight. Try to talk things out. Try to walk away. Try to avoid. But if it comes down to it, hold your own. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I got the slop beat out of me. My books were strewn all over the county. Uh, so went up to the school. They called my mother at work. Someone had to give her a ride to the school because we didn't have a car. Not until I was 16 when she remarried, or was getting remarried. Uh, she had to come to the school. She had no idea that any of this was going on. So she wasn't mad or anything. Poppy, I just saw my favorite nighttime CNA. I hope we have her tonight, but I think she's on light duty. Sorry, distraction. So anyhow, then that same girl that beat me up, who they got suspended, because I did not fight back. And evidently people that were questioned did say she did not fight back. They said, we're going to get you after school, the last day of school. Well, I stayed home the last day of school, claiming sickness, and I was sick at my stomach, terrified. Bullying. Now, flip ahead 100 years, give or take, on a job. I've had bosses. You got time to lean, you got time to clean. Ah, you can't get it right. I could hear my grandmother in my head, but it was my boss this time. Just mean boss. Perhaps he was trying to train me correctly. I don't know. I don't know. And finally, my pastor said, you don't need to stay where, working for someone that's treating you that way. And so I resigned. Um, had coworkers, not too many, but a few coworkers that were bullies. A husband that was a bully. Bully. Seems like once you're in that mindset of being bullied, it's like people just like to pick on you and bully you. There is nothing right about that. And bullies need to remember something. God don't like ugly. That's good slang. But for real, God does not like ugliness. Meaning, you reap what you sow, because He knows all, He sees all, and each one of us is going to reap what we sow. If we sow meanness, we're going to reap it. If we sow kindness, love, caring, we're going to reap it. God keeps a record, you know? He's not a bully. Sorry, a notification popped up. And all throughout the Bible, there's been bullies. If you're being bullied, pray. Ask others to pray for you. God will look out for you. Might take a while. There's got to be somebody you can talk to. And if you need to talk to someone to get it off your chest or to have someone care, you can email me. I mean, not email me. You can message me on, Facebook Messenger. I'll listen. I care. I've been there. I took my son out of school for being bullied because they wouldn't do anything about it. Come to find out, the bully lived a couple doors down, and he and my son ended up being best friends. Go figure, And my daughter was bullied. I guess everybody is bullied at some time or another. And it was not because of bullying at home. That was not so. Maybe. For my daughter, I don't know. I whooped her a lot. Would I whoop her in this day and time? Never. Never. Because I know how to raise a child now. She was my first I got to raise. I didn't know how to raise a child. My husband just said, "You take care of her, or else I'm going to hurt her." It was all on me. And the church, they said, beat the foolishness out of the child and whoop them. And I did. And I begged my daughter for forgiveness. She's an excellent nurse. She loves me. She forgave me. And I have no doubt that she remembers. Will never ever not remember. That was back in the time when all parents beat their kids. And she was a sharp cookie. When I finished whooping her, she crossed her arms and looked at me and said, "Do you feel better? Or would you like to beat me some more?" I said, "Go outside. I don't want to look at your face." I was not a very good mom, I don't think. Did the best I could with what I knew, because I didn't know anything about raising kids, not being raised by my grandmother. Children don't need to be beat half to death for anything. There's always got to be a different solution to the situation. So, yes, I guess you would say I bullied my daughter. Most bullies have been bullied if you trace it back. And I probably will go to my deathbed regretting that I did that. Now, no, I never beat my son, never. He got one what you might say, a whooping from me and his dad because he was not supposed to leave the yard. Little boy, real little boy. And a buddy of his came, and I kept looking outside. They were okay. They were in the yard. Next thing I know, I look out. I didn't see them. Worse yet, I did not see their bicycles. I thought, oh no. Just when I was going outside, I heard screech. I thought, oh dear God, no. On the next street over, my husband's coming over the hill and just barely misses the two boys. And they were coming up the hill on their bicycles. And he yelled at them and sent the other boy home and sent Larry home to the house that we were renting. And I gave him a talking to, crying the whole time, me crying. I said, son, you could have died. I said, now, I've talked to you before. I've told you not to do this. I said, I don't know any other way to get across to you the seriousness of this. I said, I'm going to have to whoop you. No, mommy, no, mommy. So he got, I think it was 5 or 6 licks with the belt. And I was crying the whole time. And then I handed the belt to his daddy because daddy's always wanted me to do anything pertaining to discipline. I said, you've got to do the same. And we counted. And then I sat and held him and rocked him and kissed him and told him, son, you could have been killed, taken out of our lives forever. I was terrified. That was the spanking of necessity. Nothing else worked. That was the only time I ever whooped him. I threatened him with a flip flop many times. Never had to. 2 different children raised 2 different ways. The first time I didn't know what I was doing. Second time I knew what I was doing. Didn't have to whoop them. And 2 different types of children. You know, Tina was very strong-willed, uh, extremely strong-willed, born an adult, practically. Kind of reminded me of, we had in the Steinmetz family farm, there was this one goat, a little kid named Chip, I think his name was, and coming into the world full grown, you know, just like Bryce. It's like he's full grown. And that's how Tina was. She came into the world, my daughter, just like she was an adult. We even talked to her like she was an adult. No baby talk with her. She just seemed like she knew everything. And later on in life, in elementary school, They tested her borderline genius level. It's a hard type of kid to raise, let me tell you. Real hard. And I'm so proud of her. But let me tell you something else. My son Larry, I'm very proud of him too. Totally different child, more mechanically based, just like his father was. Take pride in your children. Take pride in yourself. But all pride should be given unto God Almighty. He's the one. He's the one that we should have pride in. Anyhow, boy, have I ever talked tonight. Bullies. Mm-mm-mm. Terrible. Terrible. Don't pick on other people. That's ugly. And that includes when we're online in chat, you know, when we're in a live video and we're in the chat. Don't bully people. That's ugly. Ugly. God bless you. I do love y'all so very much. Have a great evening. Sleep well. Almost midnight here. If you never need to talk, message me on Facebook Messenger. Okay? I love y'all. See you later, Gators.